All right, a very good morning to you from wherever you're tuning in from, and welcome to your Sunday premier political show, Inside Politics, where we review the week's top governance developments and look into the crystal ball in terms of anticipating what those developments will mean in the political landscape going forward. Welcome to the broadcast. My name is Jesse Rogers, and what a week it has been. So much to talk about, so little time, because just this week we saw President William Ruto hard pressed to shed light on state-sanctioned abductions, corruption in the government, and his relationship with Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. And during that interview with mainstream media houses, the president promised dialogue and hinted at looming changes in government in the wake of the new reality we're currently facing right here in Kenya. Now, fast forward, President William Ruto has definitely announced major concessions touching on a raft of issues, including how the government is run. All this playing out at a time when we can draw parallels between the July 7th, 1990 protest referred to as Saba Saba Day and the current agitation led by the Gen Z youth in the country. So we'll definitely canvass some of the highlights of the week as we try and anticipate what exactly they mean going forward. Before I get to introduce my guests, we just have a story that will paint a picture of some of the concessions that have been made by President William Ruto lately, in terms of right before he had that X-Space meeting with Kenyans, he announced a raft of concessions touching on cutting or scrapping off of the budget for the spouse of the deputy president, the first lady as well, and the spouse of the prime cabinet secretary. Those are among some of the concessions that were made. Let's just listen in to major concessions that were made before we begin the discussions right here.
After reports reached the country of a presidential address, Kenyans were tuned in, hoping to hear the much-anticipated news of a possible cabinet dissolution or reshuffle. However, this did not happen despite immense pressure from Kenyans. President William Ruto, however, hinted of changes coming soon.
These measures will be followed by changes in government that I will be making shortly.
The president instead announced austerity measures that his government had taken to align itself with budget cuts occasioned by dropping of Finance Bill 2024. Woe unto you if you are a state officer and you are planning to make contributions in Harambee.
No state officer or public servant shall participate in public contributions or harambees going forward.
President Ruto also said the decision to fill the position of Chief Administrative Secretary, CAS, effectively stands suspended, further slashing the number of his advisors by half.
The decision to fill the position of Chief Administrative Secretaries is hereby suspended. The number of advisors in government shall be reduced by 50% within the public service with immediate effect.
47 government parastatals and agencies with similar mandates to be done away with.
Staff currently employed by the affected corporations will be transferred to ministries and other state agencies within government.
President Ruto listed several critical government initiatives that will receive continued funding.
The austerity measures announced by President William Ruto comes at the backdrop of pressure from the public to trim down the government, even as the president promises to make more changes. Daniel Kariuki, KTN News at State House, Nairobi.
Okay, so President William Ruto earlier on did hint at looming changes in the government in the wake of the new reality, and there we have the raft of